Mr. Billy Ocean, thank you very much for joining us. It is a pleasure to see you. Welcome to South Africa.
Thank you for welcoming me to your beautiful country.
Is it your first time in South Africa?
No, this is probably about my third time.
Your third time?
Yeah. Back in there, I think about the last time I was here was with the Spice Girls, and I remember them. There's some other people, but I distinctly remember them. They were, we were all here together.
Performing?
Yeah, performing, doing something to do with your independence or something.
Oh,
like
right,
that.
all right. Which obviously was about 20 years ago.
Yeah, must be about,
1994.
I met Mr. Mandela.
Oh, you met Mr. Mandela?
Yeah, I met him twice, and I met him about 3 times. Because following that, he came back to. We went back to London, Trafalgar Square, and we had a big party in Trafalgar Square.
Was he a fan?
Eh?
Was he a fan?
Yeah.
Like all of us?
A beautiful man. Amazing. Well, I mean, not just him. I mean, I just think, as a whole, you all are very tolerant people. You must be the most tolerant people in the world, because when during the transition from apartheid to independence was just peaceful, beautiful. You all can show the world an example of peace and love. That's for sure.
Amazing. Have you been following South African politics at all?
Yeah, in my own way. I mean, it's not very difficult to follow because it's very peaceful.
Let's talk about you. Let's talk about your music, your beautiful music, which over the years has kept, particularly South Africans, by the way, tolerant the way they are. R&B hits after hits. What have you been doing over the past, let's say, 10 years?
Well, I had some time out. I had to spend some time with my kids because I was very successful. Hits in America, something like seven top 10 hits in America, 4 number ones, hits all over the world. Not that I'm boasting, but
True, it is true.
Dreams do come true. But then you come to a point where, what do I do next? In the meantime, my kids were growing up, and I thought, let me take some time out and spend some time with my kids. But it sort of developed into something like about 17 years, but I'm back on the road again. But you were saying beautiful music. Again, there was a very much a South African involvement in my music.
Oh.
The head of the company I was with, Jive, was owned by a South African, Clive Calder.
Oh, yes.
Right? Records like Get Into My Car, Loverboy was produced by a South African producer called Mutt Lang.
Wow.
So
that's why they're so popular back here.
Well,
they strike a chord with us.
It's more than that. It's like, I mean, Clive, the head of the company, he knew what he was doing. He was the best record
producer?
Yeah, no, director.
Director, yes.
I've worked with. Clive, I used to work with one-on-one. I never had an A&R man. Clive put me with all these different people to work with, people like Mutt Lang, people like Barry Eastman, Wayne Brathwaite, Keith Diamond. He put all this thing together. Sent me to America. I always wanted to go to America to work with American musicians, and he also made that dream come true. So there's a lot to be thankful for.
Amazing. So, what do you attribute your success to? Is it because of the good people that you've worked with?
Yeah, I've got to compliment that as well. It's no man's an island. And nobody can do it by themselves. And I was very fortunate to work with some very good people from the beginning of my musical career. But, the best part of my career, up until that time was when I worked with Clive to put me with all these different great musicians. So by then I'd learned my trade, so I knew what I was doing, the sort of songs I wanted to write, the sort of songs I wanted to sing. I started writing songs because I didn't like the other songs that people were giving me. So I thought the best way to get the song that I wanted to sing was try and write songs for myself, which really came about because my father was a musician. So I was sort of, I don't know if you can call it writing songs. Since I was 13, I was writing something like a song, But the important thing about it is that coming from the Caribbean, I was born in Trinidad. I grew up in London. But coming from Trinidad, which is like calypso, and calypsos are all about rhymes. So I understood rhymes from a very early age.
But you see, that's a very interesting thing, by the way, about the Caribbean and the UK,
Yeah.
whether the fact that you've got these two cultures in you has assisted you in terms of the music.
Oh, very much. There's no doubt about that. My music, if you listen to my music from ballads to whatever, it's very rhythmic. Even if it's suddenly, sad songs to make you cry, Get Into My Car, I always tend to pick up on the rhythm of the music. The topics is where the European ingredients comes in, because the topics were very international. Whereas if I'd stayed in Trinidad, the topics would be very local. It would really relate only to Trinidad, probably not even beyond Trinidad. But having grown up with people like the Beatles and the Rolling Stones and the Marvin Gaye and all these different great American musicians, you know, the topics are very international.
But you see, also you bringing in interesting musicians, the Beatles, Marvin Gaye, etc.
Yeah.
Does that then make you a particular genre musician, or you do just about everything? From my point of view, you've done soul, emotive stuff, you've done pop, you've put it all together. You're wearing a Rastafari hat.
I'm everybody. I mean, like, why should life is a sort of experience of everything, basically. So why should I pigeonhole myself or allow myself to be pigeonholed to one particular thing? I understand different music. I understand also the different music. So I try to get as much of that out of my system as much as possible. And I've been quite successful at it.
You were talking about one of your songs, there'll be sad songs to make you cry.
Right.
I know a couple of songs that have made a lot of people cry. Like The Rose, for instance.
Right.
Beautiful song.
Thank
It's
you
very
very
popular
much.
here.
Thank you. I try to write songs, I'm sure everybody else try to write songs as much as I try to write songs that are not self-indulgent. I try to write songs that people can relate to. I try to write songs that isn't necessarily my own experience, but my experience or somebody else's experience can also be mine.
Fabulous. Can I ask you,
Sure.
if you don't mind, just to play a little bit, just a little thing for us?
Like what?
Like The Rose?
Rose? You mean sing it?
Yes, please.
I can't remember. I haven't sung that for such a long time.
Oh, you haven't?
remember
I can
the
help you.
Rose, you're my rose, more beautiful to me than any flower. You're my world, everything that I desire. It started with a spark, now it's a flower. In other words, I can't remember.
You mean
everything to me. Thank you.
We both belong together.
Say you'll be forever my rose.
What else can you play for us?
Caribbean Queen.
I see there's a guitar.
There's
a guitar right there.
She touched by me in painted on jeans, and all had turned 'cause she was the cream. In the blink of an eye, I knew her number and her name. She said I was a tiger she wanted to tame. I was in search of a good time, just running my game. Love was the furthest from my mind. Caribbean Queen, now we're sharing the same dream, and our hearts they beat as one. No more love on the run. Thank you.
That was awesome. That was
Thank you.
awesome.
Thank you very much.
All right, so you're playing in the jazz festival. Looking forward to it.
Very much. I love going out there. I love, you know, when you get to a certain age, you realize in your life what is important. You realize why you're doing certain things. When you're younger, you're doing things you don't really understand why you're doing it. You know, it's not even a monetary thing. You know, you're doing it because doors are open. You've been trying to achieve things for a long time. So doors are open, so you go through it, but you still don't really understand why you're doing it. At this age, I understand why I'm doing it. I know it brings a lot of joy to a lot of people. And while I'm giving people joy, it gives me a lot of pleasure and joy as well.
Fabulous. It's great to talk to you.
Thank you.
Thank you for popping in.
Thank you very much.
Much appreciated.